we have 4 different behavior styles and characteristics. I already talked about them. The pilot, the flight attendant, air traffic controller, and the ground crew. Now, have you ever said something to somebody, coach, and they took it the wrong way? As a player or yep. So now, has somebody ever said something to you and then came back and was like, I ain't mean it that way?
Yeah.
Yep. That's literally because we speak in foreign languages. Right? So you may say something. I may receive it one way. He may receive it one way. They may receive it a whole nother way. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And now you like, but that ain't what I meant. That's because we're literally talking to 4 different people. And if we don't know who we're talking to, we're gonna cross our communication. And with cross communication, like text messages.
Of course. 100%.
Right? Because you don't know the context. Right? I prefer voice text because, right, you receiving it the way in which you thinking. Right? So it says don't treat people how you want to be treated. Right? That's the golden rule. Don't treat people how you want to be treated. But the platinum rule is treat people how they want to be treated. Because I may treat you a certain way, like I want to be treated, but you like, that ain't what the fuck I want. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to treat me how you want to be treated, right? So now watch this. Let's make it make a little bit more sense for you real quick. So if you had a superpower, what would that be? Now, you don't have to answer that right now. Just think about it. So we talked about these 4 characteristics, right? As we go through these, I want you to figure out where you may stand and who you may know to be one of these 4 characteristics, all right? So the first characteristic is the pilot. Pilots tend to think big picture. They don't waste time with irrelevant facts or small talk. They want results now. They got the need to be in the driver's seat. Pilots are generally described as driven, decisive, determined, aggressive, specific, and to the point. Pilots are motivated by results and overcoming challenges with an organizational team. Some of their characteristics, they natural born leaders, they straightforward, they fast paced, and they're energetic. Right? You've been on an airplane before, right, coach? When you get on an airplane, what's the job of the pilot?
To safely get us there and land a plane.
To get you up and down safe. You see what I'm saying? Nothing else matters, right? So the pilot ain't walking up and down giving you drinks. None of that, right? One job. You seen the meme, right? You had one job. Pilot don't care about none of that. So if you need to put your seatbelt on, whatever, and sometimes they have to be very driven, right? Because I'm flying this big bird, right? Michael Jordan. I coached at Malcolm X. You from Austin, West Side. We know what it was like. 93 to 96. 91 to 96.
Right.
Michael Jordan had one goal. Winning championships. Nothing really mattered to him. It wasn't scoring championships. It wasn't Scottie Pippen's contract. It wasn't his finger from cutting on a cigar, having the flu. None of that mattered. He wanted one thing. To win championships. Right? So if he got to punch Steve Kerr in the face or Bill Cartwright, whoever, because when I get us here, everybody on the plane coming.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So he's concerned with just winning. So I want you to think about some of those players that you have that may be short or they may come off as, are they the mean one? Because they like in somebody's face right to it. Well, they only concerned about one thing, right? They natural born leaders. They straightforward, fast-paced, energetic. Kobe was the same way. He was a pilot.
Right.
Nothing mattered. Right? Watch this. Communication, playing with dominant style. They concerned with being number one. Right? Right? So you show them how to win new opportunities. Right? They think logically. So you got to give them some reasoning. They want facts and highlights, so you give them some data. They strive for results, agree on a goal and boundaries to support or get out of their way. Right? Because it's like, look, if you ain't going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the flight attendant. Flight attendants are innovative in their approach. They tend to have many new ideas, rely on their emotions, dreams, and thoughts to connect with others. Flight attendants are usually described as persuasive Enthusiastic, sociable, innovative, and charming. Flight attendants are motivated by the company of other people and creating an enjoyable experience for everyone involved. Some characteristics: they people-oriented, they friendly, they're the life of the party, and they're emotionally connected. Now, 96, when Jordan came back, the city changed, right? The flight attendant, when you get on a plane, coach, what's the flight attendant's job?
To make sure that you're comfortable and seatbelts fastened and you're having a nice flight.
Yep. Having a nice flight. So flight attendant's job is to make sure that you have a good experience, right? Flight attendant is all about the experience.
If you're in the building, please come to the
People
main office. Key 1,
came-
if you're in the building, please come to the main office.
People pay thousands of dollars to sit on these front rows. Because this dude was experienced. We didn't know what color his hair was going to be. We didn't know if he was going to kick somebody. We didn't know what was going to happen. But we all tuned in to see what type of experience this dude was going to bring to this game. Does that make sense? Right? So you may have certain players, they the ones that's always high-fiving. They the ones that sometimes may never seem serious, right? They the ones that may always have something to say, but they also the ones that may get fully emotional, right? So watch this, coach. I never get into the Michael Jordan, LeBron James debate because watch this. LeBron James is a flight attendant. So when LeBron James is about the experience. He got a handshake for every teammate.
Yep, I agree.
He always on social media, right? He does things in the community. He wants you to know. He say, give me my damn respect. All of that, right? But watch this. People get mad at him because he come down the last play and his teammate open and he passes it. Well, that's what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
Because that's the full experience of the game. As opposed to
Them. Yeah. Oh.
get daddy the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, but now, depending on who you coaching, you can't talk to Dennis or LeBron the same way you talk to Mike and Kobe because they may get offended.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's how are we communicating with who we dealing with? But now watch this. Now you got the grounds crew. Grounds crew agreeable, sociable, non-threatening, typically need more time to make decisions, prefer to be in a supportive role. Grounds crew usually described as patient, reliable, attentive, consistent, stable. Grounds crew are driven by structured process and people. They typically the glue that keeps everything together and everyone together within an operation. They somewhat shy, but they will warm up, right? After they get to know you, they'll start talking to you. They got a lower sense of urgency, so they move a little slower, coach. They prefer proven and traditional concepts. So watch this. When you're at the airplane, when do you see the grounds crew?
Typically when you're on the plane, putting the baggage inside of it,
Yep. So let's think about this, coach.
or when you're getting off the plane.
Yep. So let's think about this. The grounds crew, they gotta load the plane, put bags on the plane, put food on the plane, put gas on the plane. They gotta clean the plane. They gotta sanitize the plane. They gotta back the plane out on the runway. When the plane come in, they gotta pull the plane in, clear the plane off, regas it, re-clean it, get the bags off, get the people off, get new bags on, get new people on. But the grounds crew start from when you pull up to the airport, even at SkyCat.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So grounds crew are typically the glue that holds everything together. Most times, the grounds crew might be one of the best players on your team. And oftentimes, grounds crew get confused with being the pilots because they can score or they can do a lot, but they're really kind of soft-spoken. Now, I don't care what's going on right now. I don't give a damn who dating, who wife, who doing whatever, right? Grant Park, everybody in this room know what Grant Park meant to us, right? We don't have a Grant Park without Scottie Pippen.
Right.
It's you know what I'm saying? We don't have 6 championships without Scottie Pippen. Because we remember in 91, it was Jordan, Magic. But we know what happened after game 1. Scottie, we need you to get Mike. Okay, we're going to run 4 in a row off on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When they play the Pacers. Oh, Scottie, we need you to get Mark Jackson, right? Whatever. If Scottie needed to play defense, If Scotty needed to score, whatever we needed Scotty to do, he was going to do. He was the support. You know what I'm saying? But he moved at his own pace. All the while, they playing with his money. But he's not, he's more of an introvert. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he's not, just communicating and talking. He kind of sitting back, right? But think about the people that's on your team or just in your athletic department that are, right, they do a lot of things well. So therefore, they move at a slower pace. And sometimes we get frustrated at those guys, right? Think about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard was in San Antonio as a defensive specialist.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard was never an offensive dude. Not in that system, but he did what they needed him to do.
Right.
He went to Toronto. They needed him to be a scorer. Whatever they needed him to do. TD, same way. His facial, this is the first time you probably see him smile. You know what I'm saying? He locked and loaded. He ain't getting too high, ain't getting too low. Straight introvert. But again, best player on the team. Best player on the team. And sometimes we can get it confused, but watch this. You can't scream at them dudes.
Right.
Pop tried it. What Kawhi do? He like, man, my knee hurt. I ain't about to, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I ain't about to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? But now watch this. Now we got the air traffic controller. Air traffic controllers are factual in their approach. They rely on logic emotions. They tend to thrive in controlled and structured environments. They are usually described as systematic, cautious, analytic, careful, and orderly. Air traffic controllers are motivated by solving complex problems or situations that require systems and applying consistent procedures. They are suspicious of you and your solutions because they think that they're the smartest in the room, right? They like to dot every I, cross every T. They don't make changes readily, right? And they're not very talkative. When you go to the airport, Coach, where's the air traffic controller?
In the little tower.
Somewhere way up there. Can you see him? Not really, right? Air traffic controller out of sight, out of mind. But the air traffic controller is putting systems in place. Because the air traffic controller knows if I'm moving too fast, everybody suffer. Right? So I got to move slower to see. Same way ground crew. If we moving too fast, somebody bad's getting left. Now, the pilot get you there on time. The flight attendant give you snacks and all that. But you get from Chicago to L.A. and you get all the way to L.A. and you ain't got no bags, you pissed. He was winning scoring championships.
Right.
But Phil Jackson said, listen, do you want to win scoring championships or do you want to win national championships?
Right.
Mike, he's a pilot. He got one goal. I want to win national championships, right? World championships. So Phil had to put a system in. But guess what? That architect, Phil Jackson, he did the same thing here, right? That's the pilot. What's Shaq? Now that you learned, Coach, what is Shaq? Shaq would be the what? On this team. If Kobe's the pilot, what would Shaq be?
What's the other one? What was the second one?
Flight attendant.
Flight attendant. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Shaq rapping.
Rapping.
Shaq doing everything. Right? He's Superman. Right? Shaq all about the experience. Shaq love the kids. Shaq like Wu-Tang. He love the kids. Right?
Yeah.
But he had to put a system in for them.
Yep.
Right? Without Phil, neither one of them won championships.
Right.
Right? But let's think about Pat Riley. Same way, air traffic control. He's going to put the system in place. Again, people talk about LeBron James. Pat Riley is the only coach that got LeBron James to play in the post.
Yeah.
Now, LeBron James probably had him in his adaptive. But Pat Riley said, do you want to win a championship?
Right.
We just lost to Dallas because you playing on the wing. You 6'9", 240.
Right.
If you can get in the post a little bit, it's unguardable. So he created a system where he can be successful. Right? But now, air traffic controller. Your air traffic controller will probably be, from a basketball standpoint, your best shooters. Because they follow a system.
Right.
So they got to have their hands ready. They got to have their step, right? Some of your best shooters are air traffic controllers. But think about Ray Allen with the Boston Celtics. Ray Allen with Miami Heat. Whatever they needed Ray Allen to do, he was doing. But he was creating. If you look at the video, Ray Allen said he practiced the shot that he hit against the Spurs, the back pedal, he said he knew what out of bounds was because so he had a system.
Right.
So it was already, I follow this routine, step by step by step, boom. Same way, Andre Iguodala, right? 4 championships. 3 on this picture, 4 right now.
Right.
Same way, right? He's the coach off the court, right? Or the coach on the court when the coach not there. So again, coach, you think that you got how many players do you keep?
About 11.
11. You really only have 4 players.
Yeah, sure. She already got 3 players.
No. Here's what I mean. You got 4 players.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. But yeah. I know what you mean. Right.
Got no pilot.
Yep. So now watch this. I'm about to help you. So knowing that you don't have a pilot, what does that mean for you?
I have to create one.
Okay. What would a pilot do for your team?
To step up and be a leader to keep everybody else on course.
Okay. Yep. Now, watch this. You said that you don't have a pilot. I'm glad that you said this. Here's why this is called, when I said, if you had a superpower, right? What would it be? I said, don't answer it the first time. Here's why we said superpower. We got our pilots, our flight attendants, our ground crew, our air traffic controllers. 30% of the world's population is flight attendants. They don't mind. This is difficult for a lot of people.
Right.
They can't talk. They're not personable, right? They have a hard time. Only 30% of the world's population is flight attendant. Only 30% of the world's population has the ability to support other people. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? 30% can't be a Scottie Pippen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 28% of the world's population can create systems and create structure. While 12% of the world's population, they know how to deal with problems. So now, Coach, go to your email, because I sent you an email. I sent your assessment to your email. Did you get it?
Yeah. Okay.
Here's where it gets fun. All right.
This
Yep.
one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Scroll up. Keep scrolling. Bing. Bye. Stop right there. All right. Now here's why we say superpower, right? So we talked about this, right? Right. What the percentage is. Your gray bar is your adaptive bar.
Okay.
Your color bar is your natural bar. All right. So hold that right there, and we're gonna come right back to that.
Okay.
So remember we talked about speaking in foreign languages, right?
Right.
But what characteristics make the best teams? All 4. Right? The pilot, the flight attendant, the ground crew, the air traffic controller. But without all 4 of them, they wasn't shit.
Successful.
You know what I'm saying? Right. They weren't successful. So we all have all 4 qualities. But one of the 4 qualities is more dominant.
Right.
And that's the one that we need to walk in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
As opposed to attempting
To be something.
to be something that we're not. Hence the thermometer, the thermostat, right? So now watch this. Same way here. With this team, can you break down the 4 behavior styles of this team?
Pilot.
Who's pilot?
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade. Okay. Yep.
The flight attendant, LeBron James.
Yep. We already talked about that one. Yep.
Grounds crew is Bosch, and then Ray Allen would be air traffic control.
Yep. Now, we talked about these 2, obviously, right? What made you figure these 2, and you called them right?
Dominant personality, one
Flash.
ball,
Yep.
when it was on the line.
Yep.
My team,
Yep.
on the table.
Yep.
This my city.
Yep. Yep.
All that.
Yep. Which is why they had issues the first year.
Yeah.
Right? Because They wanted him to be the
He
pilot,
was never the pilot.
and he like,
Right.
until they went to Bahamas, after they lost, he said him and D-Wade went, and they established it. It's your team.
Yeah.
Right? Now, why would you say Chris Bosh is
He
the...
did all the intangibles, everything you do to win. Don't talk, don't say anything. What y'all need me to do, I'm just gonna fit in.
And did a hell of a job.
For sure.
Hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Right? So is it starting to make sense to you, Coach?
Oh, it makes a lot of
Yep.
sense.
Yep. So now, I was the last chance. I didn't watch the last season, but I was the last chance. You, first season, I was all in. Did you see it?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay. 4 players. That was the point guard. That was the center. That was the power forward. That was the small forward.
Okay.
If you go back and watch the first season, the last chance, you. Pilot. He was a flight attendant. Great player. But you see what he's doing?
Right.
Very emotional. Right? Our gift is also our curse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing, make us laugh, make us cry, right? This dude, I promise you, Coach, he didn't run no faster than maybe 2.5 miles an hour. And the coach would get mad at him all the time. Where's your energy? Where's your energy? But because he's a grounds crew, they just move slower because they got to make sure they're taking care of everybody else. You see what I'm saying? This dude, freak, KJ, but he was the system dude. You run the plays, he gonna catch the line.
Right.
You tell him run from nail to nail, he gonna do whatever, right? Because he understands structure.
Right.
And he's gonna get it done, right? Same way with your coaching staff, right? You have to have a blend
Oh, for sure.
of your staff because he was the pilot. He was the grounds crew. He was the flight attendant. They loved him.
Right.
They loved Coach Rob because he would talk to him and everything, right? This one is, hey, I'm going to take care of you like whatever you need. He was the one going to the middle school games, all that. Support. But if they had to hear from him all the time,
It wouldn't work.
it's over with because we done blocked you out, right? So now this is the title of my first book, Coach, Understanding Life Through the Game of Basketball. This is actually doing a timeout, right? This guy here, grounds crew. Now, I didn't know what I knew now, what I knew then. But we playing Kankakee. And they got Marvin Thigpen, you know Thigpen? They got they got D on the team that went to Farragut too. And it's like they come back home, Westside. And like Kankakee ranked in the nation, but he from Prosser. So they all know each other. Like this is, you know what I'm saying? It's a family game. And he was so pumped up. Like, man, I'm about to dunk on Marvin today, right? And called the timeout, and he's so geeked to where his gift is his curse. Now he all over the place. He got 2 quick fouls.
Yeah, of course.
Timeout, I need everybody just to go here. Because I need to talk to you, right? And people thought at first, like, man, like Coach Crazy, I ain't fronting him off. We having a conversation, and he went on to have one of the better games of his career and went to go play NAI. But that's why I put this picture on it, because it's a guide to effective leadership and coaching, right? Me understanding that I couldn't, at that moment, I couldn't go MF him because I would have lost him. It had to be me and him where he can look in my eyes. Let's you know what I'm saying? Let's figure this thing out. Now, this is my team, right? Me, this is a few years ago, right? My wife, my daughters, my son. And I tell them the same thing, right? Love yourself. Now, this is where your teachers come into play with your athletes, coach. And I'll send you this. But think of your players that are sitting in class. They just want the teacher to get to the point. Those are the pilots. So while I'm explaining the lesson, if you know what to do, I may say, Coach McGee, do page 34 and 35. And now I'm going to deal with this, right? Just tell me what the hell I need to pilot. Just tell me what I need to do so we can get there.
Yeah.
Right? Flight attendants. Cool. Group study? How could I fail? But they studying. Ain't no studying going on. right? Your flight attendants, they experience. They want to have fun. They want to, right? So now they in class, they the ones talking. They in class, they the ones that's passing notes. They the ones that snuck their phone past somehow. They the ones maybe cracking jokes at the teachers. So now, as a teacher, the teacher may need to say, you know what? Hey, can you help me pass our papers? Since you want to be seen, I'm going to help you be seen around here. Hey, come on up to the front of the board and help me with this problem. Right? Now the teacher is gaining control, or even you, right? Player, hey, the flight attendant, hey, come on and run this. Show us how it's done. Or come on and help one of your teammates and show them how it's done. The grounds crew, all I need is a study partner and perseverance. That's going to be the kid in class that's going to suffer in silence. They ain't going to ask no questions. My middle daughter, she ain't going to ask no questions. None. And I'm like, this one right here. And I'm like, girl, you got to ask some questions, right? Her right here, about to be a freshman. She ain't asking no questions, right? But she'll get it done, but she figures I don't want to be a bother.
Right.
So you may have some of them players, you like, do y'all understand this play?
They say, yeah, quick, before I can do that.
And so now the environment has to be welcoming enough to now you may have that flight attendant. Hey, go grab 4 of your guys and do it. Now, because these two people, the flight attendant and grounds crew, these are, they get their energy from people. Does that make sense? People empowers them. The grounds crew and the pilot, they get their energy from completing tasks, right? If you gave them a task, it's going to be frustrating. If you put these around people, they'll rather kind of bag up. Give me the task. Let me check it off. So here's where our conflicts come in, coach. These two people are extroverts. These two people are introverts. So that means that these people move at a faster pace. These people move at a slower pace. So now they getting mad. Your pilots and flight attendants getting pissed off at the ground crew and the air traffic control because they moving slow.
Right.
But they moving slow because they helping everybody. And they moving slow because they got to check on everything. Let's go back to Kobe Bryant for a minute. How did Kobe Bryant pass away?
In a helicopter.
Yep. Now, do you know the story of it, Coach? What happened? Do you know like what the full story was? It was foggy.
Oh yeah, that part. Oh,
And what? Yeah, no, but it was foggy and what happened?
And he wanted to get to the game.
Kobe wanted to get to the game. Kobe the what? Pilot. I got to get to this game. But who advised him not to?
His wife.
It was somebody else.
They told him don't go to the game?
The air traffic controller.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The air traffic controller advised them not to fly.
Yeah, not to fly.
Because of the conditions.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Kobe being a pilot, on top of the pilot who was flying the plane, they both got the same mindset.
I can get there.
I can get there. But your gift can sometimes be that curse. Does that make sense? Like God rest right all their souls. But in practical sense, do you really see how it, right? Like, okay, this like he's linear focus, getting there. The air traffic controller like, dude, we can't do this.
Right.
Right? Don't do it. Don't do it. And they did it anyway. Now, getting ready to close out, Coach. So now this is my assessment, right? When I first took the assessment, I went to a junior NBA conference here in Chicago, the very first one, and they gave me this assessment before Dr. Thomas did the flight assessment, before I knew who William Marston was. This was my first assessment. And you see here, right? I'm a high air traffic controller, right? My sub is flight attendant. And here's how you look at this. You look at the numbers, right? So remember I said your gray is your adaptive. Your color bars is your natural. Now, none of this is bad. None of this is bad. But the reason why we say superpower is because one dominates. My natural, I'm a step-by-step dude. I'm a procedure dude. I create systems. That's what I do, right? When I'm in my adaptive, my air traffic, and so when I'm being watched, at this point when I'm being watched, my heightened awareness goes up. Right? I want all the smoke. You know what I'm saying? I know we're in the crowd, like it's money time. Does that make sense? Now, again, none of this means bad. But what does this mean? This just means that my behavior changes and it's a little noticeable. So watch this. Drive down Lake Street. Once you get to Halsted, make a right. If you drive, better yet, drive down Lake Street. When you get to Holman, make a right. Go to Expressway. If I drive down Lake Street and get to Holman and make a left, all hell may break loose.
Right.
Does that make sense? Right? So this is my awareness. You see what I'm saying? So based on my awareness, this is the blind spot. Right? So it don't mean bad. People be like, oh man, you got the low scores. No, it don't mean that. But now watch this. This is what you got. So now let's go back to you, Coach. What's your natural?
On this one?
Yep. Because this is my actual report.
Okay.
What's your natural?
Pilot.
Pilot.
Really good.
So looking at that, tell me, now this report is roughly 75 to 85% accurate. It's not 100% accurate. But based on what you're looking at, how accurate is that?
Very accurate to me.
Very.
I kind of knew it when I saw it.
Yeah.
Like I knew it before I even did it.
As we were going through the slides. Yep. And so now, here's why I say superpower, right? Now, these are my new scores, right? You see, I'm still an air traffic controller. That's my highest number, right? My grounds crew, right? So my flight attendant has went down a bit, right? My grounds crew has went up, a little empathy, but my pilot has significantly increased, right? And as we go about, right, so I'm a spiritual person, I believe it was only one person that walked this earth that was 100% all across. I think that's like Jesus, right? But see, we all have all four. But here's why it's superpower. 30%. 30%, 28%, 12%. Understand me and understand me close, Coach. Your superpower is a pilot. That means that 88% of the world don't have the natural instinct and capabilities and behavior styles that you do. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you're really an anomaly. It ain't a lot of Michael Jordans. It ain't a lot of Kobe Bryants. It ain't a lot of Tom Brady's. It ain't a lot of Floyd Mayweather's. You understand? Those are pilots, right? It ain't a lot of Kevin Garnett's, right? That's going to get it done. But now, how would you say your pilot, tell me how your pilot helps you? How it helps you as a player, how it helps you as a coach?
As a player, as you can see by stature, that I'm not the biggest, the tallest.
Yep.
Could have been one of the fastest, which was obviously my knack. But it made me more determined. It made me more want to prove. As like I said, as being a coach, I'm going to prove to you that I can make this work. So that's my determination. Me being a pilot, me being a leader, always focused on saying that I'm going to be the best, regardless of where I went. I mean, I got approached to transfer a lot of times. I'm like, no, I'm going to win here. I can go to college here. And I was able to do it. And I didn't go to the Power 5 that I thought. But then I realized I was where I was supposed to be. When I became a coach and understood basketball. Understood what it's all about. So, I think it helped me. And as a coach, it helped me because I don't have the best talent, as you know, where I am with recruiting. But I was able to win. And I was able to win fast. And I was able to win a lot. Like, I won Coach of the Year last year.
So now listen to what you said. You were able to win fast, right? I want you to write this down. Especially for pilots, right? If you go alone, you can go fast. If you go together, you can go far. Right? Now, you just took these words. You said that you were very driven, you were very decisive, and you were very determined because of your size or whatever was going on. And so you had to get it done, and you had to get it done pretty quickly, right? So now, how to being a pilot? What are some challenges as a coach to being a pilot?
To get people to see the same vision that I see,
Yep.
or to understand certain situations. I played and I still play, so in my mind, sometimes, which is when you say gift and a curse, I feel like, hey, you can attack that zone by doing this.
88%.
Yeah, and I think if I tell you that, you should. If I demonstrate it with some people.
88%.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm saying, as you're talking, I don't mean to be rude.
No.
Or cut you off, but I'm saying 88% because only 12% of the world's population has the innate ability, the natural ability to be a pilot. Right. So 88% of the world don't understand your language.
Right.
Does that make sense? So you saying you should be able to you can get there, right? Again, don't treat people how you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Treat them how they want to be treated. You can get there because that's what you do, right? It's simple to you.
Right.
If somebody told me, if somebody said, and watch this, you going to get it because what's your secondary, coach?
Air traffic control.
Yep, air traffic controller. So you going to get this. Watch this. If I said sugar, flour, eggs, what would you say?
Probably cake.
Right? But I gave you sugar, flour, eggs. Most people just seeing sugar, flour, eggs. Because you're a secondary air traffic controller, you know you can create a system with them three ingredients. Does that make sense? So you've been successful because, and why I told you hold on, because you were like, I ain't got no pilot. And I said, hold on, because I knew the results, but I wanted till we got to this point. You the pilot of your team. Right. Who's the air traffic controller of the Bulls?
The real one?
Yeah.
With Tex Winter and Phil Jackson.
They didn't shoot a shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? So you the pilot on your team. Does that make sense? You don't.
I would have said that if you asked me who the pilot, I would have told you me.
Yeah, right? So you don't have to create one. You just have to be who you are. Because your players, your grounds crew, they want to support you. Does that make sense? So talking to them in the language in which they understand, now they're going to play for you. You like, we running through this wall. They're like, okay, bet, coach. Right? I got your back. The flight attendants, you the pilot, you like, we on go. They like, oh, hell, come on. You know what I'm saying? They just need somebody to have the go. They down for the party. They down to support. But here's what happens. So let me ask you this question. Personally, in your personal life, in your athletic life, work life, whatever, do you seem to have competing views, competing values sometimes?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, tell me about one of them. And I'm going to explain why I asked this question in a minute. What are some competing, what are some things that you kind of go against yourself with?
Oh, now, in my coaching style, I go against something. From where I was coached and how I played and when we grew up, is about basketball was number one.
Yep.
Basketball was everything.
Yep.
No matter if I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm going to the basketball court.
Yep.
Basketball is not number one to these kids. They may rap.
Yep.
They may get a job. I never had a job in my life doing basketball. So
Basketball was your job.
Basketball was my job.
Yeah.
So now I compete against myself because I'm like, do I just, when I say, hey, we got open gym, and you got 5 guys show up out of 11, what do I do? Because normally, everybody go home. But now I have to coach to the type of players in the generation that we're dealing with. If you told me to run or you took me out, I don't question why I came out. They'll question you. Or your mom will call and say, "Hey, my son, it's his dream to play basketball. You're killing his dream." Like, no, it doesn't work that way. So I have to compromise a lot of the things that I do because of the population and the kids that I have.
And so,
So that's me fighting myself on what I would do in my natural state and what I have to adjust to do to be able to coach and be successful.
So now listen to what you're saying, right? Because you all in it, and and as a pilot, give it to you. You understand it now, right? So now let's break it down. Let's work through it. So, are you helping by not being your natural?
That's the debate. That's the conflict that I have sometimes. Am I hurting them or I'm helping them? Now, when I get to that point,
what do you think?
I think I help because I'm going to always go back to me. I'm never going to not be the pilot.
Okay,
I can't not be the pilot.
Yep.
Even if I tried to.
Yep.
Because I've tried.
Yep.
Several times and I can't.
Yep. So what causes you to not go ham, right? Because if it's not done, right, driven, decisive, why ain't you going ham? In terms of how AP Wilson saying, right, how Doc saying, whatever's going on in class, in the hallway, why ain't you snapping like you probably naturally would on the court as a point guard if they're not doing what they're supposed to do? Why ain't you going in? Honestly.
Because of the CPS rules.
Okay.
Keep my job.
Okay. Yep.
Two, this is generation of how they're raised, and also that if you heard when AP made a comment that said Doc's a little bit soft, they'll run to them. I do too much. I have to have a conversation with her.
Okay.
And
So
it won't be a bad like you're gonna get fired. They'll just be like, can you not? And I'm like, I'm trying to teach them accountability. I'm trying to teach them to be a man. Something that you're a woman, you're a parent.
Okay. So let's walk slowly through this, right? And I appreciate your honesty wholeheartedly, right? Because now we get into the thick of things. So are you not 100% in your natural because of the reaction that may come from it, which then can cause you ultimately to possibly be out of job and not be able to provide for your family? Okay. So remember you said fast, right? Oftentimes, right, 'cause pilots, they're extroverts, they move fast. But you're also a air traffic controller, so you can come up with that system too. Allow yourself the ability to create the system and then go. See, it's a gift and a curse, but you got the best of both worlds because most pilots need me, right? That plane ain't going nowhere until that air traffic controller tell it to take off. It ain't coming down until y'all done been on planes, you've been flying around, right? So Michael Jordan couldn't just go. He was going fast and he was winning championships, right? Coach of the year, right? He was doing that. But if we talking about success, lifelong success, them leaving out of the community, you can treat everybody fair, but you aren't able to treat them all the same. And so, again, when we're talking about communication and why I wanted, I'm going to have to double back on AP Wilson and Doc, but I wanted all of them to take it because, again, part of your challenges is everybody not fully understanding you, right? Part of the admin challenges is the teachers may not be understanding the goal of y'all three, right? And the teachers aren't understanding the students, and the students are supposed to be the one on the front line that everybody's helping, but they're kind of fourth priority because everybody else trying to figure it out because ain't nobody communicating properly, right? As opposed to maybe if you had somebody to say, listen, I just don't want it to come to me. Okay, cool. Right? I gave you the cliff notes. Right. You can figure that out. Right. Okay, so cool, right? But ultimately, so Coach Buzz Williams told me this. He said, Carvel, you can help somebody so much to where you hurt them. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I was like, damn, that is true. It builds and it breeds on the entitlement. But again, understand this. 88% of the world don't like conflict.
Right.
Does it really bother you? You know what I'm saying? Right. You can have a hard conversation. You said, like, whatever. You can have hard conversations. Right. But that's why it's a superpower. I know when I walk in a room, I know 72% of the world can't create a system.
Right.
So I know that I'm needed in 3/4 parts of the world. Does that make sense? Right. So as we're closing this up, right here, with my assessment, right, the same way. And so based on your bars, right, so what word, when you look at your natural coach, what are your words? What's your pilot? What number is your pilot?
My pilot was like 90%.
90%. Okay, so here's how we count here, right? So you don't count the bold words, but you count every other word. You go up 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right?
Okay.
So what are the words that's highlighted for you?
At the top, decisive, competitive.
Decisive and competitive. Okay, here's where you land and take off. Your natural talent, your natural gift is you are very decisive. So that means that you can make decisions. Most people go to McDonald's, they've been there their whole life, and they be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right, whatever, right? And I ain't never heard of a Korean, what'd you say, Korean taco?
Yeah.
What was you know what I'm saying, right? But like some people, I don't know, like, do you want damn taco or not? You know what I'm saying, right? And if you don't, just tell me so I can move on. But don't waste my time, right? So with that being said, understanding that your gift is you're decisive. You can make decisions. So when a decision need to be made that you know is best for their job, this school, this community, and your job, you got to make that decision.
Right.
And this is where I say competing issues come in, because as the air traffic control, let me ask you this question. Are there times in which you overthink?
Yeah.
That's an air traffic control.
Yeah.
Because we want it to be perfect.
Right.
So, and because we do things step by step, if we do this, the process, the results are inevitable.
Right.
But we want it to be perfect. So sometimes we procrastinate, right? And again, so if you're in your head, you're procrastinating, but you just said you're a pilot and you do things fast, right? Again, I said, right, some move fast, some move slow. So now you frustrating yourself because you know that we may need to increase sports,
Right.
but now you're trying to figure out how to do it so it works right. But instead of, once you figure it out, you'll figure the rest out as you go through. Does that make sense? Right. So I don't want you to come up with a plan or take all day to come up with a plan. And now you got to go super fast because you spent all this time back here. You know what I'm saying? You can't take 3/4 debating, am I going to play this dude? And then you like, okay, to hell with it. Come on, let's go. Right. Well, it's like when you think about it and it makes sense to you, that's your air traffic controller. Once it makes sense, your pilot is on go. You see what I'm saying? So now with your adaptive, are you adapting? How far are you adapting up? So you go to the next page and it should tell you the words.
Okay.
So on your natural, you was decisive, and what else? Whether demanding or competitive?
Competitive.
Competitive, right? So again, as a competitor, you are a competitor. You can't put you in your kids.
Right.
Right? So how can you compete every day with you that's going to help them? Right? It may be, can I get this dude to make a layup without traveling?
Right.
Or can I get them to make 2 in a row? You like, I ain't leaving the gym till I make 10 in a row. Right? You know what I'm saying? And so as a competitor, I'm on 10, we on 10. No, we ain't on 10. But how can you compete against yourself? You see what I'm saying? We may just start small. We may just start with 6 people.
Right.
And then if we build it to 7, build it to 8, but we can't wait till it's 15 to be perfect because it don't be right. Like, don't compete with yourself with that, because that's where the stress come in. Because now at night you like, man, I should have did this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And now, and then that then trickles over into your personal life. You know what I'm saying? It's all relative, right? So now with your adaptive, what's your words?
Competitive and commanding.
Okay. Yep. So competitive is natural. And in your adaptive, you kind of stay there. So all in all, naturally or adaptive, you're a competitive dude.
Right.
Right. And so, but you have to you have to compete with you. You can't compete with no other schools. You can't compete with no.
That's crazy, ironically, because that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about Simeon. I don't care about like, I just care about.
Yeah, and ultimately you are competing with them because, again, as you said, if you won Coach of the Year or if y'all don't want a regional or things, you're doing things that ain't been done
Right.
in a while.
They ain't never been done.
So you're winning, right? But it ain't gonna be perfect.
Right.
And so that's like, you can do it fast, but then in your quiet time, because you're task oriented all the way around. You know what I'm saying? You on the side, right? The first 2, flight attendant, ground crew, those, they get their energy by people. Air traffic controller, pilot get their energy by task. So give you a job, it'll get done.
Right.
But you gotta get the job done.
Right.
And stop wrestling. Is it gonna be okay? Is it like, are they gonna be okay? But they'll be okay if you communicate, right? And I, cause I know this thing. It seems, right? Doc seems to be total flight attendant, right? Got it. Boom. Experience.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm doing is gonna heighten the experience. I may have to communicate with them 10 a different way. But if we get them 10 together, that's going to improve the whole experience of the school. Now, communicating with her like that, now she understands. As opposed to, no, they need a hard fist. Well, that's a bad experience.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But how you communicate it,
Definitely.
Coach, why ain't you said that? Yeah. It's going to help the experience? Like, Tiger there? Oh, shit, go ahead.
Right.
Just don't let it come back home.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying, right? But again, having that communication. Now, here's the thing as we close. I believe every college coach in America needs to come see me. Because you played in college, I played in college. Transferring been going on since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
But the reason why the transfer portal is so bad now is because students are going to schools that's not a good fit for them.
Exactly.
And they don't know what a good fit for them is because they don't know who they are. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? And so now a kid that's a docile kid, that introvert, they going to play for a dude that's hooping and hollering all day. Yeah. And now that kid don't like basketball no more.